A month after Nationals, I entered the US Sumo Open. This time, the stage was much bigger. Thousands of people packed into the Walter Pyramid to watch the biggest sumo tournament in the country. And I walked into it with only a few months of experience. I didn't come here expecting to win medals. At this point, I'm still building a foundation. The Nationals and the US Open weren't about proving I was already good. They were about exposing my weaknesses, so I know exactly what I need to rectify. All right, we're going to the show. Driving to Los Angeles right now to compete at the US Open. To be honest, I'm not really looking forward to it, just because I competed at the Nationals a little over a month ago and I didn't do particularly well. And I haven't had a whole lot of time to really adjust or improve a whole lot. And so this is even a bigger competition. There are going to be international competitors there who have done well in other events. Honestly, I'm probably just going to end up getting the floor wiped by some like massive Georgian or something like that. But at the same time, I really want to do it because as a beginner, I want to compete in the biggest tournaments that are available for me to compete in, because that'll give me a good baseline of where I'm at and how much more I need to improve. And that way I can have clear goals and understandings of which direction to move in and what I need to work on and what I need to fix.
What's so big?
Think so? All right, we made it. Just gonna go inside and get weighed in and checked in, and I don't think I'm gonna do any sparring. I'm still a little bit sore from some of the sparring I did this past week. Taking too damn long.
Really?
Yeah, they're right here. Yeah, like their booth and stuff.
Okay, we're here. 303. Nice.
Shortly after getting weighed in, I met Josh, easily the most likable guy in the tournament, and my very own Tony Robbins.
Hey man, you gotta tap into that inner Russian strength.
Gotta tap into something.
That inner, I don't know.
I also met Andrew, the godfather of amateur sumo in the US, for the first time in person. We've had several conversations over the phone in the past, and he's been very helpful in me starting my sumo journey. And today he gave me some pointers so I don't bomb in the competition.
That's so much more effective. The first time I could feel like I could wiggle under your elbows. The second time, you won in 1 second.
Okay, all checked in and weighed in. Met a few people, that was pretty nice. But otherwise, done, gonna take off. And then I was just kind of like looking over my competition in heavyweight, and I was just thinking, who do I have a good chance of beating? And honestly, I don't know. So we'll see tomorrow. All checked into the hotel, just gonna relax the rest of the evening, especially since I drove 6+ hours and I don't really feel like doing anything else anymore. And I wanna be ready for my matches tomorrow. So I brought my foam roller with me. I'll do that for a little bit, and then I'll have my beautiful wife give me a massage, and hopefully I'm ready for tomorrow. All right, today's the day. Wish me luck. The heavyweight division competed last, so by the time we were called out, I'd already been waiting backstage for hours. Every once in a while I'd warm up just a little to stay loose and keep the nerves down, but most of it was just waiting. Right before we were introduced, I finally started warming up properly. Then suddenly we were being called out onto the stage.
From Arizona, 303 pounds, Valeri.
And almost immediately after that, my first match started. Honestly, everything moved so fast that I never really felt fully prepared mentally. I even forgot to put my mouth guard in for the first 3 matches. My first match was against Angel, who eventually took silver in the heavyweight division. Like a lot of the heavier competitors, he overwhelmed me pretty quickly and pushed me straight out of the ring. That became a recurring problem for me throughout the tournament. Still, there wasn't much time to dwell on it. I had 5 matches left and plenty more opportunities to learn from the experience. My second match was against Zorig. Before amateur sumo, he had spent 7 years competing professionally in Japan and came into the tournament as one of the favorites to win the division. He eventually took gold. After the tachiai, we ended up in a clinch. At that point, I was honestly just satisfied that I hadn't immediately been pushed out. While I was trying to figure out my next move, he hooked my leg and took me down cleanly. And that was the end of match 2. Considering his experience level, I wasn't too disappointed with the result. At the very least, I had managed to stay in the match for a little while. And with a bit more training, this feels like a winnable matchup. My third match was against Angel's brother, Gilberto. He was even bigger than Angel, and the match followed a pretty similar pattern. Right after tachiai, he caught me with a quick shot near the jaw area of my face. Face strikes are illegal, so this was kind of a gray zone. However, the refs didn't call it, and I certainly wasn't going to cry about it. Either way, I still got pushed out quickly afterward. My fourth match was against Josh.
Josh with one win so far. Valeri in the black belt looking for his first win. At this point, they're not in medal contention, but this is for pride. Who can get this victory?
At the tachiai, I started using thrust to the chest and neck area to try to drive him backward. It was working somewhat, but he was moving well around the ring and forcing me to chase him. Eventually, we ended up in a clinch, and I attempted a twisting throw. It wasn't the cleanest technique in the world, but it worked. That gave me my first win of the tournament. Now, even though Josh only finished with one win overall, he actually had several close matches throughout the day, especially considering he hadn't competed in sumo in over 6 years. I was happy to get the victory, although it did feel a little bad that it came against him, since he's such a genuinely likable guy. My fifth match was against Kelly. Kelly was interesting because he was in his 50s and he had come out of retirement after years away from the sport. Back in his prime though, he medaled at this event several times. He also weighed over 400 pounds. Once the match started, he immediately began driving me backward, and my plan was basically to push him down before I ran out of runway. Thankfully, it worked. That gave me the second win of the tournament and guaranteed I wouldn't leave the US Open without wins. Unfortunately for Kelly, it ended up being a rough day overall and he wasn't able to pick up a win. My final match was against Matthew, who weighed close to 600 pounds and had competed at the US Open multiple times before. Originally, I considered trying using speed and movement against him instead of meeting him head on. A lot of smaller competitors will do this when facing larger opponents, looking for trips and angles, but personally, I don't really like that style very much. By the time our match started, Matthew looked tired, and so I decided I'd just engage him directly and try to drive him backward. That plan lasted about 2 seconds. He pushed me out almost immediately and ended my tournament. Final record, 2-4. No medals for me today, as expected. However, next year is a different story. All right, that was pretty fun. I was actually kind of dreading it in the beginning, but it ended up being a pretty fun experience. I went 2-4 in heavyweight, and that wasn't too bad. It's a little bit better than I expected, and some of those matches felt kind of winnable. But I ended up abstaining from open weight just because I figured I'd quit while I'm somewhat ahead before I potentially get an injury. And this was just a baseline for me. I didn't really come here to win. I just came here for the experience, so it was good. They had some sushi, some pizza, but the pizza was already gone and the sandwiches were already gone. Made some new friends. Well, Josh. Sumo is risky because you only have like a few seconds to react and do something. Had a good time, didn't get injured, that's a plus. Thanks for watching the video. You've just witnessed the conclusion of Chapter 1 through my journey in sumo. At this point, I've competed in 2 high-level sumo competitions, and I know exactly what it is I need to work on. Now, one glaring issue that I have is I really struggle against larger opponents, both in this tournament and the last one. And so what I need to do is figure out how to neutralize them in the tachiai and how to push back harder. I have a year to figure this out before I compete in the US Open next year. In the meantime, I'll probably compete in 2 or 3 smaller tournaments, and then I plan on having all kinds of other interesting content on this channel. So if you're interested in following the journey, be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Japanese beauty. Time.